Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly and I post videos on how you can grow, cook and preserve your own food naturally and sustainably. So if that is something that interests you, definitely hit subscribe because there's lots more coming to this channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 ways to become more self-sufficient right now. Becoming more self-sufficient and living a sustainable lifestyle isn't a quick one-fix wonder. It's something that you need to work on and build every day. Taking small steps to incorporate things into your lifestyle so that they flow and it's easy. Because if it's hard and it feels forced, then you're not going to keep it up and it won't be sustainable long term. So start small, but start today. All right, so number one, which is my absolute favorite, is grow your own food. Growing your own food doesn't have to be a huge, scary thing. You can start small, whether that's a pot of herbs on your windowsill or turning part of your existing gardens edible. You can plant some lettuces in between what you've already got growing or radishes and add those to your salads. Herbs are a great place to start for beginner gardeners because they're quite easy to grow. They can tolerate lots of different environments and they're quite pest resistant. So starting with herbs is a great idea, and you can also grow them inside. So grab some seeds, put them in the soil and start growing some things. You don't have to be self-sufficient in everything, but you can start being self-sufficient in something. So think about what you eat a lot that you buy. Maybe it's lettuce mixes. Maybe you like to have a lot of mesclun salad lettuce mixes. So plant some baby salad greens and that way you can be self-sufficient in that. Or it might be basil. You love basil in your cooking, so plant some basil seeds and be self-sufficient in basil. Basil grows in huge abundance in summer and you can cut it off and preserve it to use through the winter months, or you can grow it inside on a sunny windowsill. Planting a fruit tree is also a really good idea because fruit trees are something that as they continue to grow will just produce more and more food and is a great step towards self-sufficiency. Even if you don't have a big property and maybe you're in a rental, you can still plant a fruit tree, put it in a pot, and that way when it does come time for you to move on to your next property where you do have a little bit more space to plant, you'll have that fruit tree, you can take it with you and it will be way more established and it will be fruiting. So don't be afraid to plant fruit trees in pots. You can get some really good dwarf varieties that do really well in pots. All right, number two is compost your scraps. Composting turns your scraps into organic, nutrient-rich soil that's going to help you grow a lot more plants. As well as reducing waste, composting will save you buying lots more soil and compost because you'll be able to produce it at home using things that you already have. So you can pick a compost tumbler up at most of your hardware stores or even keep an eye out on Marketplace because you might be able to pick one up secondhand for cheap. All right, number three, which is another one that I'm super passionate about, and that is learning to cook. It's such a big one, and I think it probably should be number two, second to growing your own food, because learning to cook is so important in getting the most out of everything that you grow. Even if you think you're a pretty good cook, I know how to cook, I make my own dinners, learning to cook what you grow is a whole different ball game because you need to be really creative. You don't want to have to be relying on lots of packet food. When you think about what you cook for dinner on a regular basis, a lot of that will probably come from packets and jars and tins. So learning to get creative with what you grow in the garden and replacing a lot of those things with vegetables that you're growing can be really tricky. So it takes lots of practice and is something to continually work on, because to be more self-reliant and build up your self-sufficiency, learning to cook with the vegetables in lots of different interesting ways will help you sustain it long term, and it'll make your meals lots more interesting and wholesome. So whether you use rainbow chard as a wrap, or you use zucchini as noodles or cauliflower as pizza bases. There's so many interesting ways to use your veggies. Learning lots of recipes and tips and tricks like this will go a long way towards self-sufficiency, and it will mean you'll be able to stop buying so many things at the supermarket and rely more on what you grow from the garden. And this will in turn save you heaps of money, because we all know if you pop down to the shops for one or two things, you end up coming home with 3 bags full of things and you wonder what happened. Creative cooking with garden to plate recipes is something I'm incredibly passionate about, and it is what I created my membership around. On that I share lots of my recipes that I have made using ingredients from my garden. I try and keep them really simple and easy and of course delicious. So if that is something you're interested in, then I'll pop the link below and you can find out some more details on that. Number 4 is preserving food. Make hay while the sun shines, as my dad would say. When you grow an abundance of produce, it's really good to preserve it so that way you can still create balanced and wholesome meals throughout the year. And you don't need a big garden to do this. You can learn to preserve fruit and vegetables that are in season season. When they're in season, they're usually really cheap and you can get bulk deals. So make the most of that, grab some of those and learn to preserve them so that when you do grow them in your garden, you'll know exactly what to do. And lots of your friends and family might have an abundance of, say lemons or oranges that they're giving away. So make the most of that and grab those, and then in return, you can give them some of your delicious chutney you made or your jam to say thanks for gifting you that produce. Number 5 is learn to make cuttings. This is the best way to level up your gardening and grow heaps more food for less. Learning to grow from cuttings is such a valuable skill. It'll go a huge way on your journey to become more self-sufficient, because you will be able to grow endless amounts of food and plants from simply trimming your plants. Number 6 is saving seeds. This is a currency that needs to make a comeback. Each vegetable that you grow has the potential to grow an endless amount of food. Saving the seeds for future generations. I mean, one capsicum has hundreds of seeds in it, so it has the potential to grow food for years to come. Try letting some of your plants go to seed and save those, and you can even try and save seeds from vegetables that you purchase. This is a really fun activity to do. So some easy ones to grow from seed are pumpkins. If you purchase a pumpkin, just wash off the seeds, dry them out on a plate, and then pop them in a brown paper bag, and come spring, you can plant them in the soil and they're really easy to grow, and you'll have lots more pumpkins. Some other ones that you can try are passion fruit, capsicum, any of this pumpkin squash family, and even tomatoes. It's a little bit of fun and it's super rewarding. Get into the habit of swapping and trading things. Use your newfound skills of making cuttings and saving seeds to swap and trade with other people for different plants. This can go a long way on your journey to self-sufficiency, because you can grow a lot more food and a lot more variety of plants without actually having to buy anymore. So use what you've got. If you've got a lot of lemons, or you've planted 200 cabbage seeds and now you're going to have 200 cabbage seedlings with nowhere to plant them, then swap and trade those with other people. And as you start doing that, even just gifting them to other people, it'll really open up this conversation and more people will get involved in swapping and trading. You can also hold swap meets. This can be not only produce and seeds, but also maybe it is secondhand items. This can be a really fun event. You can tell everyone to bring 2 or 3 items that they don't want anymore, and you can host a swap meet, bring a plate of food, and everyone can come and enjoy some food, plus they can get rid of stuff they don't want, and they may even be able to pick up some items that they do want. So whether that is secondhand items, it might be books, it might be clothes, it can also be obviously seeds, plants, cuttings, house plants. Number 8, learn about edible plants. There are so many edible plants around you every day that you may not even realize. Learning to identify what plants are edible and what parts of the plant are edible will really increase your food resources and help you become more self-sufficient. This means you'll be able to get more out of everything that you grow, and there may even be some weeds or native plants that you have in your garden that you didn't even know were edible. So learning to identify plants and learning what is edible is a really valuable skill to continue to build. Number 9, harness natural resources. Everyday nature is providing us with so much that is often ignored. Harnessing the sun, the rain, the wind, all those natural elements to your advantage. Dry your washing when it's sunny or it's windy. Dry your washing outside rather than using a dryer. Capture rainwater for your garden. Dehydrate herbs, flowers and food using the sun. You can even make solar powered ovens to cook outside and use the sun, as well as solar panels to create electricity. And then when it rains, put your pot plants outside in the rain. That will give them a nice water and will save you having to water them. Plus, rainwater is so much better for your plants than tap water, because that often has a little bit of chlorine and things in it that can inhibit plant growth. So rainwater is definitely best. Make the most of that and pop your plants outside when it rains. And number 10 is upcycle and reuse. Use what you have, get creative, train your mind to start thinking of creative ways to come up with solutions to your problems rather than instantly switching to, I need to go and buy this. It can be really easy to slip back into that consumer mindset. So you've got to keep reminding yourself to try new things and get creative. See what things you have lying around your home that you can use. For example, tomato stakes. You don't need to go out and buy all these brand new tomato stakes. So you might have something lying around. You might be able to go and forage some sticks to use to make teepees, or a broom handle, something like that. So just have a think about it, and if it's not something that you need straight away, then just keep an eye out, keep thinking about it, and you might be able to come up with a solution. Other things can be upcycling pots or things that you can use as pots and containers. Whatever it is that you need, there may be other ways that you can come up with the exact same solution to your problem without having to rush out and buy something. It can seem hard at first, but if you start practicing and switching that mindset, you'll get better and better at coming up with some creative solutions. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope you got some tips. I hope you're ready to get stuck in and started today. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to get started with today. I'd love to know. Plant those seeds, preserve your food, make cuttings, all the good things. It's so exciting, and it's just layers and layers of learning and experience to help you start becoming more self-sufficient. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your friends if you think that they are interested in doing this as well. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. You can start small, but start today.